Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk movies, television, and wrestling. I'm, of course, the Lemon himself, Zeke Lamone, and this is my review for Friday Night SmackDown. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way. Share and leave a like. Comment below, let me know your thoughts on Friday Night SmackDown. Of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into it, shall we? So, the first SmackDown post-Survivor Series, what was going to happen? We are gearing up to John Cena's finals match, the finals of the Last Time Is Now tournament was happening here. So a lot of intrigue heading into this episode of SmackDown, and I would overall say this episode was fine. I don't think it was one where you could sit down and watch the whole 2 hours and you would be fully satisfied. I do think some things were a little bit missed here. Unlike Monday Night Raw, where, yes, I will say it was not epic, but I do think that is 2.5 hours very well spent throughout. While here, again, just some things didn't really click for me. Like everything we're doing with our singles women's divisions. With the U.S. Championship and our WWE Women's Championship, Jade Cargill. She has a match with Alba Fire. Again, it's just a big cluster F, right? She's coming out. Why is a distraction to Alba that gets Alba distracted from the match, helping Jade Cargill win, when I think Jade should just be destroying fools left and right, regardless of who is in front of her, until she faces like a Nia Jax, a Lash Legend, a Tiffany Stratton, or hell, even a Chelsea Green to a degree, if you are able to have the constant distractions all the way through. I think there's some credibility there. Or, a Julia, whenever, the main roster actually wants to take Julia seriously, which I do think they do in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, I feel like Jade could have just destroyed Alba Fire, even with the help of Chelsea Green, and then you could have done all the Julia stuff later, and then, we have another backstage segment with B-Fab and Michin, and I really don't know where we're going with that, because next week we're doing the Michin versus Jade Cargill match, and again, I think Jade should just mop the floor. And B-Fab has been quiet, and I can't take full credit for this, but I saw this online. I don't remember the user, and I hope I liked it. If I did, then, I'll post the tweet on here. If I don't, then clearly I couldn't find it. But basically this person said B-Fab has been quiet ever since she got her ass kicked from Jade Cargill. So is this kind of going back to Roman Reigns in 2020, when the tribal chief or the head of the table moniker at that time was really starting to take shape, and that the way that the Usos fell in line was that he beat them in line, right? So Jade already destroyed B-Fab, so B-Fab wants no smoke. And now here comes Michin, and now if Michin gets her ass kicked, will she fall silent as well? And, they kind of joined with Jade Cargill, and, that's a new women's faction in some way, in some form. I could be really intrigued by that if that is what we were to do. I wasn't fully on board with it because when we first did the B-Fab match, someone else also said, oh, they're going to form a faction. I wasn't fully into it. But now I'm seeing these seeds being planted, and that has been presented again. Now I'm intrigued. I think that could be a good little threesome right there between those women. It could be a good stable. They could bounce off of each other very well. And, Jade is presented for the PLEs while, Michin and B-Fab kind of fight for her on the SmackDowns. And, again, is someone you work up to. You work up to a Jade Cargill. I see Jade Cargill as a boss level. And, no disrespect to a Michin or B-Fab, but, they're the henchmen. You fight them every single week. You fight them on every level until you get to the boss level on your standard platformer. For my gamers out there. So yeah, if that is what we were to do, I'll be into it. But yeah, everything we did here. One, I just didn't like the booking of the finish. I don't know why Alba Fire has to be distracted in order to get it. I don't mind Chelsea Green getting involved with it. What? And then Julia coming out. When are we going to get to that match? Let's just get to that match and get it over with at this point, right? And let's get some fresh blood. Where is Nikki Cross? She is supposed to be involved within this division as well. I think she, the lights can go out. She pops up. There's some stuff you can do with Jade to be like, you're weird. And then everyone else runs because it's Nikki Cross and she's crazy. So, yeah, it just missed the mark for me. I wasn't a huge fan of that. There was another thing on the show that I wasn't the hugest fan of either, but I cannot recall it right now. But besides really that, I do think everything was watchable for the most part. I mean, the finals of the Last Time Is Now tournament was very, very stellar. I mean, LA Knight and Gunther going at it. They have very superb chemistry. I think Gunther has chemistry with absolutely everyone. And I know there's been a lot of discourse, and I said this on my Monday Night Raw review. To me, they got the finals right. Yeah, some parts of the tournament were very wishy-washy, but I do think there was some highlights. I think it rejuvenized Carmelo Hayes. I think the semis and the finals were very, very good. And, when it was LA Knight and Gunther at the end, I was like, you know what? I'm fine with either one of them winning. And I was just happy to sit back, put the leg stand up, and put my feet up on the table and just watch these two go at it. And they did. It was a very good fight. I thought they told a very good story too. I really liked the ending. My dad actually texted me and he goes, I don't like that LA Knight tapped out. But I was like, well, it stung me at the beginning too. But then once Gunther got in that screen, he's like, I'm going to make you tap out. And I think that is just such a good story for Cena's final match. And it does add the caveat, because we all know how Cena is. He's a traditionalist. He probably wants to go out on his back, right? To give back to the business in that way, shape, or form. There's a reason why we're doing NXT versus WWE. It's been confirmed that was Cena's call. He wants the future to be in a good spot. Could you imagine? I don't want this. Believe me, I want Cena to win his final match. But could you imagine Gunther, the heel, the man who takes a lot of pride in making people quit and submit, faces the man for 20 plus years, has told us to never give up and never did give up, taps out in his final match. Oh man, it would be some storytelling. It would send Gunther into the stratosphere. We will all be very sad for his final match. There will be a lot of discourse online for sure. It's there, and it's very, very intriguing to do. As a storyteller, I would be very, very intrigued to see how that would play out afterwards. It's a very, very good story beat to do. As a fan, though, I don't want that. I want Cena to win. I want him to overcome the odds. I want you to tease the tap out, tease the tap out, tease the tap out. Hell, even have Cena in that hold for a very, very long time to be like, oh my God, he is going to tap out, or he's going to pass out, and then he finds the courage and he gets that 1, 2, 3. So, I'm very torn on it. The storyteller in me, the booker in me, well, thank God I'm not the booker, is very, very intrigued to do that very bleak finish and to put that period on Cena's career on that. Yes, he did give up on the final match. He did give up, but as a fan, I want Mr. Hustle, loyalty, respect. I want Mr. Never Give Up to never give up and beat Gunther in his final match. Very, very, really, really like the ending. Everything we did with the WWE Tag Team titles. I'm more intrigued with Solo versus Uncle Howdy at this point than I am in the MFTs versus the Wyatt Six. I think Solo probably did his best promo that he has done. There's been a discussion, about most improved wrestler, right? We talk about it here occasionally. In 2024, I think for men, it was Damian Priest, and for the women, it was Nia Jax. For this year, I think it's a lock that Raquel Rodriguez is the most improved for the women. For the men, I think Solo Sikoa is definitely in that conversation. Again, went away for a few months, really reevaluated himself, and now this presentation that he has now where, it's a fine middle of when he first debuted on the main roster, and still that goofy self that a lot of us are really starting to fall in love with, because this promo he did where he was more serious Solo, talking about the Wyatts and how they don't deserve the last name Wyatt, and even finishing off with the Bo Leave thing was very, very good. And then, we had the brawl afterwards. But yeah, again, overall, am I intrigued with the MFTs versus the Y6? Because we also had that moment with Tala Tonga and Eric Rowan. It got a pop from the crowd. Sure, but I will say, to me, the money match right now after this promo is Solo Sikoa versus Uncle Howdy, one-on-one, mano-a-mano. Maybe make it a lumberjack match to have the others outside of the ring. Maybe that's the route that we go to. But yeah, that was really, really good. The U.S. Open Challenge between Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov was a lot of fun as well. Here comes Tommaso Ciampa to finally get his title opportunity. All he had to do was duke Ilya into winning by cheating, because when he saw that replay, and he was so upset, like, no, I'm an honorable champion. That was very, very good stuff. He finds Nick Aldis. So in 2 weeks, we'll get Axiom versus DIY. But next week, we get Ilya versus Tommaso Ciampa for the U.S. title. This is what frustrates me, right? So he keeps saying, you're not honorable. This is why you're not getting a U.S. title shot. Cool. So, he cost Ilya to win honorably, right? So he punishes Tommaso because he wants to get his hands on Tommaso Ciampa by putting the U.S. title on the line. I don't know why he couldn't go, no, Nick, this is not going to be for the U.S. title. It's going to be a non-title match, but I do want to fight him. But non-title. I'm not letting him have a chance at my championship. I think that was probably the better route to go. And then, Tommaso could get the win by cheating with Johnny Gargano. And then we get the actual U.S. title match because you can justify it by then. And then, boom, then Ilya can beat Tommaso Ciampa at that end because we keep teasing Tama Tonga versus Ilya Dragunov. So, we can get to that program. But, yeah, I feel like, again, even though this has gone really long, kind of like another feud that we did. That's the other thing that I wasn't the hugest fan of. We'll get to that in a little bit. This feud has gone a little long. It's been an ongoing joke of, the whole jackass. I'm not going to give you a U.S. title shot. I feel like here we could have gone at least 2 more weeks. Again, non-title match. Tommaso Ciampa wins by crook, right? And then we do the actual U.S. title match where Ilya wins clean. We wash our hands of it, and then we move on completely. And then, the other storyline I wasn't a huge fan of, and we did this in backstage skits again, where we are going to do the mixed tag between the Terror Twins, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley versus Aleister Black and Zelina. Here's my thing. Zelina, Aleister have to win. Look, I think we really cooled off Damian Priest. We need to recharge him for sure. But this is Zelina's and Aleister's first pairing as a tag team. And obviously, they're going to stay together while the Terror Twins are going to go their separate ways, right? So therefore, Zelina and Aleister need to win. To me, it's just how it needs to go. But I do think maybe Rhea will pin Zelina, even though, again, this repackaging of her, I think Zelina needs to win more. So I'm intrigued by the match, but yes, after we do this, maybe we do one more Damian versus Aleister match, and then we draw a line under it, because this has gone on for quite some time. It never got on PLE. In some ways, this helped Aleister Black, but I don't really see anyone truly benefiting from this feud. Nothing against them, for sure. It's just how the feud was booked. It needed to be on at least one of the PLEs, whether it be WrestlePalooza or a Survivor Series, or hell, even a Saturday Night's Main Event. I don't know if we had one in between. But yeah, Salt Lake City, right? That's one with that, right? We could have done it there, for sure. Yeah, we just had some missed opportunities for that. That was the other thing I wasn't the hugest fan of when it came to it. And then, we kicked off the show with Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. We're going to continue on that feud. I do think Drew needs to win round 3. Where's Randy Orton? I don't really know. But we also got some of the other Saturday Night's Main Events. Wow, the SNME is next week, and we still don't know any of the other matches that are happening. Granted, it is all about Cena. But, I kind of want to see what the NXT versus WWE is going to be. And now we know. We got Bayley versus Sol Roca, which is going to be awesome. And then we are getting, which is now confirmed, because Deadline is happening as I am recording this. But Oba Femi is going to face Cody Rhodes for on that show as well, which is going to be just a lot of fun. I don't know how we booked that, because Oba can't lose, but Cody can't lose to the NXT champion. So I assume Drew's going to get involved in some way, shape, or form to help Oba Femi win. Or maybe that one ends in a no contest, which I hope it doesn't. I hope there is a 1, 2, 3. And I think Oba being on the main roster, he needs wins. I think if anyone's going to break Asuka's streak of the longest undefeated streak, it should be Oba Femi. I mean, the man's presentation is amazing. So yeah, again, overall, this SmackDown was fine. Everything we did with the WWE Women's Tag Team titles too, that was a big segment. Really energized this division quite a bit. We had Alexa Bliss versus Kairi Sane. Fun match. A lot of interference in that one too. But this one makes a lot of sense because you have the partners on the outside. Nia Jackson, Lash Legend come in. A lot of depth. I mean, we're doing the rankings of the divisions and the superstars. And I think there's going to be a good chunk of the women's tag teams on that list. And the women's tag team division on the ranking, I think it was at 8 or 9 on the list. It's probably going to jump up to like 4 or 3. In all honesty, when this is all said and done, I'm still reevaluating rankings on that. So stay tuned for that one on Sunday or maybe Monday when we'll post a video. But yeah, we've done a lot of great work when it came to the women's tag team titles. I am very intrigued to see what we are going to do next. But yeah, again, overall, this episode of SmackDown was fine. Again, I don't think this is an episode where you need to watch every single segment. I think you could watch some of the highlights on YouTube and you would still get what you would have gotten if you watched the whole 2 hours. But yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was just kind of there for the most part. Some good, intriguing segments. But yeah, it was a show that happened. And I'm probably not going to remember it literally after I get done recording this. So yeah, comment below, let me know your thoughts on this episode of SmackDown. Leave a like if you made it this far within a review. I do greatly appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button as I am trying to grow into my YouTube career. And don't forget to squeeze the days, guys, because life is too short not to give you. Also, squeeze every opportunity that you can. Until next time, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.